Why should we expect gender equality? I agree with gender equality. Why should we expect it? Why should we expect an equality of persons and not a kind of class-driven caste system? What is it that is baked into your vision for humanity?
But again, what you're doing is asking me to give you a moral theory, and that's not the proposition tonight. The proposition is, does religion poison everything?
Right.
All we need to do is take propositions that we agree on. People are not here for meta-ethics. They're here to understand whether or not it poisons. If you and I agree...
Imagine that the reason why we believe those things is because of religion. Just imagine it, okay? That is what I'm saying to you, and you need to deal with that, right?
What makes you think that? It's just your faith that it all comes from Christ, or what is it?
What's my belief is that religion and violence and slavery and endemic inequality, vertiginously steep hierarchies of being are all baked into the human person. Hello, my fellow apes, right? Okay. Now, what is it that then makes us think decency, love, compassion, and hope is what being a human is?
All I'm doing is an anthropological task here. I'm describing what humanity is.
What is humanity?
Warts and all, you know, like humans are passionate, they are,
but what makes that a wart?
Community.
Like if we've evolved to have warts, what's wrong with warts?
But I'm not here for a debate in meta-ethics, Glenn.
We're talking... You've got one. You've got one. Welcome to the debate.
Because you can't debate the proposition. Look, slavery, right? You and I agree slavery's bad.
Why?
Christians failed.
Why? Why is slavery bad?
It doesn't matter why we think it's bad.
Can you not say why it's bad?
All we need is to agree on the proposition.
Can you not say why it's bad?
Say
why it's bad without appealing to some kind of sacred ideal or transcendent reality.
Meet me halfway then. Why is it bad?
Because we're made in God's image, and therefore to enslave an image of God is as unthinkable as to enslave God himself, right? And we were created to have dominion rather to be served. These were the arguments that brought about abolition in the 17th, 18th centuries. All right,
what doctrine tells you that?
I've just gave you two doctrines, the doctrine of the image of God and the doctrine that humanity has dominion. Now, you tell me, why is slavery wrong?
No, because I don't think you've done the job.
Why is slavery wrong?
But you haven't done the job, Glenn.
You asked for two doctrines.
If you wanted to play this game,
I gave you two.
If you wanted to play this game, we could play this game. Why is it that it's good or bad? Is it because God says so?
Oh, you want to go Euthyphro?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do Euthyphro. Okay, should we catch people up with Euthyphro?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Okay, so Socrates' last dialogue is with Euthyphro. He is having this dialogue with a guy who is on trial, and Socrates is really weirded out by this dude because he seems to be very, very pious. So pious, he is about to testify against his own father on a capital charge. He's about to sell out his own dad. So much does he think the truth really, really matters. And so Socrates is really interested in this guy because he's really into piety. And he's trying to figure out, where does piety come from? Where does morality come from? Goodness, right? The translation of piety is right at the heart of this debate, actually. But anyway, so he's like, well, are you doing the right thing because the gods say it's the right thing? Or do the gods say it's the right thing, and therefore is it arbitrary that the gods just point to something and they just arbitrarily call truth-telling is good, but also they might say hopping on one foot on a Tuesday is also arbitrarily good? Is it just so arbitrary that the gods, or is goodness so outside of the gods that they just must shrug their shoulders and just say, oh, there's an independent thing out there called goodness, right? Would you agree that that's kind of the dilemma?
Yeah.
The horns of the dilemma?
To rephrase it, just so that maybe there's another angle, does God command you to do something because it is good, which means he's referring to something external to himself? Or is goodness just defined as whatever God says? So if God commanded you to murder children, then that's what goodness is.
Right.
And the answer that's typically given?
Well, who's writing down Socrates' thing, Plato's answer is that God is goodness, right? And that he kind of refuses the dilemma. That's been the most ancient answer to the Euthyphro dilemma, actually. It probably doesn't sound very satisfying to most people sitting in this room. God is goodness, what does that mean? But interestingly, it was Christians talking to Platonists that actually got a lot of traction because they were basically saying, look, I know you guys don't think that the squabbling deities who are, pointing to goodness and evil, that they are actually good. I know you don't believe that. But you Platonists, you seem to believe that there is a goodness above the squabbling deities. Let me tell you the name of that God, a God who is love, right? And they said, look, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit bound together as a community of love. Their life is love, right? So God is goodness in the sense that, well, God is love and goodness is love, right? And this is the kind of world that Christians say we live in. We live in a world that's been made by love, shaped by love, determined for love, and to violate that love, that is the essence of what evil kind of is. So there's something about the Euthyphro dilemma and some of the moves that I make.
So is it that you're saying that it's a false dichotomy?
Yeah, I think
So
from
what- so-
Plato
so-
onwards, people have been refusing the dilemma.
So straight up, what is the answer?
So straight up, the answer is God is love, right?
Which is the first one. God defines it because he is love. If God commands us to go and murder children, as he does with the
but God is
conquest
love.
of Canaan,
But God is love, right?
yeah, but this is the point. If you
Right.
define him as love, whatever he commands is love. So when the conquest of
No.
Canaan comes up,
No, because
okay, show me how it's different.
Because the persons of the Trinity are equiprimordial. My favorite word, go and look it up later. There is no first and second in terms of the life of God. The threeness of God in their mutual love for one another and the oneness of God in terms of his being are fundamentally identical in eternity, right?
But Glenn, to say that they're fundamentally the same is to make the point that I'm making, is to say that what God commands or what God is just arbitrarily what morality is.
Are you mistaking
So
me
if
for a
he's-
divine command ethicist? Because I'm not a divine I thought we weren't going to do
what I'm
metaethics.
saying,
We're doing
and this-
metaethics here.
What I'm saying is you don't have an answer, and I can play Philosophy 101 with you as well, and you're going to ground out with an arbitrary view, as you are right now.
Oh, it's not arbitrary. The fact that
It's,
love is
it's
ultimate, right?
literally arbitrary. It's God's nature.
No. See, the whole Trinitarian debate, we're going to get into Trinity as well.
Okay,
This is
I've
so
got-
good.
I can phrase it better if you like.
Arbiter is like the word for will. And actually, Christian theology, including Augustine was brilliant on this, okay? Augustine, not so good on slavery. Augustine, pretty good on Trinity. Okay, the idea that God, the Son of the Father is an object of his love by nature, not a product of the will. Christians have always put love before will, which means that there has always been an ethical community before ethical commands by God, right? So so it's not that the commands of God are the ultimate thing that determines what is right and wrong. The community of God, that is love, comes prior to the commands of God, okay? So I think that does escape the arbitrary point. Why did we get on to Euthyphro?
No, it does not, because I can ask you this, and this has been known since the beginning.
Okay.
Does God choose his nature, Glenn?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so it was arbitrary.
No. You know that the word arbitrary means
if
choosing.
God doesn't choose his nature...
You know that the word arbitrary means choosing. Okay.
Yes, but you know
so
what I'm
he
saying.
is
I'm saying
love.
that
he
is
doesn't
it-
choose to be love. He is love.
Does he align his nature with
tried to-
goodness or not?
No, he does not choose to align his goodness, his nature with goodness.
Because
No,
he either
because he
aligns
is
it
love.
with goodness,
Yeah.
or it is love, as you just said, which illustrates my point.
No,
which
but
means you don't have
but
a
there is-
workable moral theory here. You just have might makes right.
Oh, I don't have might makes right. How do you avoid having might makes right? I say love is ultimate. What is ultimate in your worldview? What is ultimate? What is ultimate?
We put the Euthyphro dilemma down because we don't want to take up too much time. And I was worried about getting into a meta-ethical debate rather than, for instance, is slavery good or bad? We can argue this premise.
Okay.
What I've illustrated
Is slavery
here...
good or bad is much
Yes.
closer to this debate, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
So, is it good or bad? And if so, why?
This is my point. I've just illustrated that you can't ground it, goodness. So I'm going to meet you halfway, and for the purpose of this
You
debate,
have not,
I'm going to
though,
say
okay.
that I can't either. But you and I agree
You can't. You can't say why slavery is wrong. I gave you two
No. I
doctrines.
said that for the purpose of this debate, I'll meet you with what you've just done, which is to fail to ground goodness.
Well, people can be the judge of whether the doctrine of the Trinity is a sufficient answer to the Euthyphro dilemma.